Well, greetings, dear friend. This is H D McCarty, your old Razorback rabbi from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I guess that title is especially appropriate today because here in what we call Hogland, there's a great sadness. Coach Frank Broyles, who came to Arkansas in 1958, was our great football coach, won the national championship, went on to be athletic director of the university and didn't retire until I think it was 2004. Built some of the finest. In fact, we're rated one of the top 10 schools in America in facilities, and he did most of that just raising money outside the student fees and all, and debt for the state, gifts. He's did a fantastic job. We're an all-sports school, which we weren't when he came, just football. But now every sport, men and women's, are funded and have their great facilities. So Frank Broyles was indeed a wonderful man. One of his top assistants, when he was interviewed, he said he was not only a great ethical man, he was also a Christian. And of course, that's where I figure in. I came to Fayetteville in '65. Frank had been here about 7 years, and I got to know him. I can't get into all the details for this brief time we have together. But he got to know me, I got to know him. Many of the football players started attending my church. I was the pastor. And I had a Bible study in athletic dorm that many of the athletes would come to from all sports. We'd have 70, 80 people out every Thursday night. And a lot of people were after the athletes, wanting them to do this, wanting them to do that. And Coach Broyles felt we needed a chaplain kind of to keep it together so we don't get fragmented, and asked me to be the chaplain. And I was on a volunteer basis, if you can believe this, for almost a little over 30 years. Now, boy, I could tell you a lot of stories with coaches, all the head coaches I knew, the players, the staff. Where do you even begin? And several people have asked me, they said they'd like to hear just a few things. What would I say about Coach Broyles? I made a little list of the outstanding things here, and there are 25. And we can never hit them right here, but let me just share a few of them. That's what I do. First of all, Coach always talked about a charmed life. He said the Lord has given him a charmed life. It's amazing, he said, in what he's done, his opportunities. He was a national commentator for NCAA on Saturday afternoon sports. You name it, and he's pretty well done it. And one of his favorite stories is at the end of World War II, he was in the Navy Reserve, and his first assignment was in April. They sent him to Washington to go to Europe, but when he got to Washington and been there a few days, Germany surrendered. And so he said, man, that's pretty good. I go in active duty and Germany surrenders in a few days. Well, they decided they'd send him out to the Pacific and fight Japan. And he said the day he landed in Hawaii on his way, to fight for the Japanese, they surrendered the next day. And so he said, I guess I had some authority because it didn't take me long to get rid of both of them. We always laugh about that and what he said about his military experience. I told him one time he's a lot like General MacArthur. I'd read a tremendous book about MacArthur, and Coach Broyles seemed to be kind of austere and kind of above everything, but he really wasn't if you got to know him, because it said of MacArthur wasn't that way. He was so committed to the highest principle for our country that it seemed everything else was negative. And I told Coach Broyles he's that way. He's so committed to the program we have at university that somebody could think that he wasn't personal. But I can still remember the last time I saw him, just before he died, his smile, how he waved, and he had a compassionate heart. There's no doubt about that. He always talked about the team having character. He had his Georgia accent, you know, a southern accent. And he said, men, we need to have character. And that team that won the national championship was playing Baylor one time, and they had about 2 minutes to go, and Baylor was ahead. And if Arkansas, I think we're on their 10-yard line, they needed to move 90 yards or 80 to score and win, they went to the huddle. And Jim Lindsay, one of my dearest friends who was on the team just before they called the play, Jerry Jones, who now owns the Dallas Cowboys, was one of the members of that team. And before they called the play, Jerry said, "Man, I got one thing to say. If we can move this ball in less than 2 minutes, 80 yards down the field, and win, we have character." I'll never forget that. A great Greek word, incidentally, dokimos, and it means we get our word document and doctor from it. And that's what character is. Character is able to handle whatever comes before you. Oh, that was a great thing. In 1969, we played for the national championship here in Fayetteville, played Texas, and President Nixon came, and Billy Graham came.